So the open world genre is definitely one of the most popular ones in the gaming franchise, and 2023 was a good and bad year for open worlds, because you had great games like Baldur's Gate obviously, but you also had some letdowns like Starfield or The Day Before. And this year is obviously coming to an end, so in today's video I'm going to discuss my top 10 games which make me the most excited that will come out in 2024. Obviously the release dates for those games are not certain 100%, they can be delayed, but they're obviously planned for 2024. And this being a top 10 list, obviously I can't include every game that's coming out in the next year, so games like Dune Awakening or Avowed didn't make it on this list because they don't excite me as much as the other games on today's list. So we start the list off with Skull and Bones. And now let me tell you, when I first made this ranking, Skull and Bones was actually in the top 3. And for me the first trailer really looked quite promising, which I obviously talked about in my last video about Skull and Bones. But since then we got a lot of news, and especially a lot of content creators were actually able to play the game. And after that it doesn't excite me as much, to be honest. Because when it comes to the gameplay and everything, I really expected more, to be honest, and I'm thinking that Skull and Bones will not be the game that we thought it to be. I mean, when you think about it, when the first trailer in 2016 arrived, in the last couple of years everybody was saying like, okay, this could have been a masterpiece if it came out. Now while it is coming out, people are saying way different stuff. So while we obviously don't know 100% how the game is going to perform, and I have to say that I'm still quite excited for a pirate game, but now after so many videos and gameplay showcases being released, it doesn't excite me as much as it did before, and that is why it was only enough for place number 10. So number 9 we have Greedfall 2: The Dying World. And this game actually is a prequel to the original title and will feature you as a person captured from an island and taken to the realm of Garcane. And in this game again we'll be able to explore a whole new world, and it will be up to us what path our character will take as we travel along the continent looking for ways to fulfill and achieve our quests. And while the first Greedfall game definitely was a great one, we'll have to wait in order to find out more about the game and more about the open world. But obviously just because it is a prequel to the first Greedfall game, I had to mention it on today's list, and that's why it is on number 9. So in 8th place we got Star Wars Outlaws. And like Skull and Bones, this game is being made by Ubisoft, so I'm always very cautious when it comes to their games, to be honest. But when it comes to the Star Wars franchise, they made quite a good job with especially Jedi Fallen Order. Obviously Jedi Survivor wasn't quite ready when they released it this year, but I also hope that actually taught them a lesson, because the Survivor game was very hyped before releasing, just like Star Wars Outlaws actually is. I mean, think about it, the idea of it is really great, you know? Your main character isn't a Jedi or someone that is destined to save the whole galaxy. We're simply a normal outlaw. And obviously we'll be able to visit numerous planets, we'll have to do a lot in the galaxy, and I just hope that they don't bottle the game and bring it out when it's actually finished, because again the potential is there. I mean, it's a Star Wars game, so it has got the hype just because of the name of it, but it's Ubisoft and obviously it's a video game, so it can also not deliver. But I really hope that this Star Wars release will actually be something worth playing, like Jedi Fallen Order was in 2019, and that they actually develop this with proper passion and love for the franchise. So number 7 we have the game Where Winds Meet. And as of now we only know that this game will be releasing on PC. I hope they'll do a console version though, because this game looks incredible, you know. I mean, just listen to this, okay? The game is set in the 10 Kingdoms' final days in China, and we'll be able to play as a lone swordsman with many different choices to make. And obviously this game will include a lot of traditional martial arts, and I'm just so excited when it comes to visiting an open world like that. I mean, China was always a very anticipated setting when it comes to Assassin's Creed, and every new game that is set in this era excites me a lot. and there will also be some supernatural elements in the game, so we won't only be fighting humans. And I have to say that I'm really excited for the game. Maybe it will be a second Ghost of Tsushima, we'll see. It definitely has the potential to be something great. And now number 6 on today's list, we have The Lost Wild. And this one will actually feature us being stranded on an island full of dinosaurs. And almost every boy in its past was somewhere down the lines very interested when it came to dinosaurs. Personally, I always loved watching movies or reading books about them because they were so incredible creatures. And obviously we have games like Ark Survival of the Fittest, for example, that already feature dinosaurs. But a human being stuck on an island full of dinosaurs and just trying to survive on that island, I mean, shit, it sounds incredible. Obviously a big importance that the game will have to master is the way that the dinosaurs act and respond to our actions. Because obviously it has to be somewhat realistic and they have to react in a proper way so that the game also feels real to the player. And The Lost Wild is definitely a game that I'll play because, I mean, think about it, a survival game with dinosaurs, I mean, yeah, that's everything I need to know. It had to be on today's list and I'm very looking forward to seeing more and more information regarding this game. And now in 5th place we have got the Gothic 1 remake. And obviously remakes nowadays are very popular because obviously with our technological advancements the graphics of games are looking better and better every year. And Gothic 1 came out 20 years ago now, and it's a very beloved game by almost everybody that played it. And obviously the graphics are quite outdated, but guys, let's be honest now. When you think about it, at least for me, those older games, you know, games like The Witcher 1, The Elder Scrolls Morrowind or Gothic 1, their strength were the story and the immersion and the atmosphere of the games. And almost every time the real bad things that we were able to say about these games were that the combat is clunky, that the gameplay feels weird, or just that the graphics aren't up to date. So in my opinion, there are some games that would benefit from a remake, and I'll make a future video in the next weeks surrounding that topic and talking about some games that would really benefit a lot from a remake, and Gothic 1 definitely is one of those games, because this remake won't only change the game graphically, it will also take the battle system from the original game and improve that immensely. And if you combine that with everything else that the original title did great, we'll definitely get a masterpiece of a game. So obviously the content and the story won't be new. A Gothic 1 remake, a proper remake, would definitely make this game incredible. Now in 4th place on today's list is Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. And obviously, like the title says, our aim will be to kill the Justice League. And a very important part why this game ranks so highly is that it is not being developed by Ubisoft or something else. It is actually being made by the team that made the Arkham trilogy. And they actually know one thing or another about games, so I'm really looking forward to this one. And we'll be able to play as either Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang or King Shark. And well, as the title says, obviously the mission will be simple, just take out the members of the Justice League who have actually been brain controlled. So we will be the good guys and they, from the Justice League, they will be the bad guys in the game. And I'm looking very forward to visiting the cities and locations from the DC comic universe. And as I said, the developers are known to create good games, so as of now there are not many bad things surrounding this game. And this game will come out in 1.5 months actually, because we already know the release date. It will be February 2nd, so we won't have to wait long for this one. So now we get to the top of today's list, and on 3rd place we have The Rise of the Ronin. And this game will throw us into the 19th century as a Ronin in Japan. And obviously during this period, Japan had a lot of different situations that were happening. You know, you had the Civil War, you had different diseases, so I'm definitely expecting quite a cruel world, but at the same time, an extremely beautiful open world. And so far we know that we will embark on a very dark and mature journey in the game, which is obviously very fitting for a time period like that. And obviously this game is in the 19th century, So we won't only be able to use blades, we'll also be able to use guns, which is a thing that I probably do not like as much. I would like a game where we only use blades, but I'm very certain that the main focus will actually be using our swords and our blades instead of guns. So Rise of the Ronin, again in such an interesting time period, is looking very good, and I'm looking very forward to playing this game. Now in second place on today's list is Dragon's Dogma 2. And guys, it's about time that we finally get this long-awaited sequel to the original RPG game Dragon's Dogma that was released now almost 12 years ago in 2012. And Dragon's Dogma will be a single-player narrative-driven RPG, and the developers shared a lot about the game already, because it will also come out in the first quarter of 2023. Sorry, 2024, I'm still not realizing that time is flying so fast. But it will come out in 3 months already, and will obviously be very free in this game. You know, we'll hopefully be able to immerse ourselves in the open world like we could in the first game, and we'll be able to approach situations in different ways. And now when it comes to the open world, the game will be set in the same fantasy-themed world that we know from the original game, and the presentation actually revealed that the game's open world will be 4 times bigger than the one in the first game, which means that we will get quite an increase when it comes to the size of the open world. And after a long wait, we will finally be getting Dragon's Dogma 2, and it has every right to rank on second place on today's list.
And soon I'll see your smile in a dream.
And now my most anticipated open world game in 2024 is Death Stranding 2. And now before I talk about this game, I have to say that in the last 2 weeks since I made this list, my first place was Crimson Desert, but unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, they delayed the game 1 year, so it will be coming out in 2025. But when it comes to this one, I mean shit, Death Stranding 1 was a great game, you know, and it was inevitable that we will be getting a successor. Obviously this game probably will be an exclusive for the PS5, and now at the moment we already know that Sam from the original title will return, but to what end we have no idea. And obviously the director Hideo Kojima is very unpredictable when it comes to his games, and the trailer for the title was simply said just as confusing as many of his other games are. So we don't know what we'll be getting in the sequel, but I just hope that we'll come close to what we got in Death Stranding 1. So now with my list being concluded, I want to hear about your most anticipated open world games that will be coming out. As I said, there are a lot of other open world games that I was really thinking about putting on today's list, like Marvel's Wolverine, or Stalker 2, or Dune Awakening, but after a lot of thinking I'm pretty happy with my list now, and I just hope that 2024 will be a good year for open world. But obviously bigger isn't always better, especially in video games. But I mean, to be honest guys, some titles like Dragon's Dogma 2 or Rise of the Ronin, I mean they can't disappoint, can they? I won't say anything because I will jinx everything now, and in the end they will be unfinished disasters. Obviously we do not hope that will happen, but just from hearing about those games, they really seem incredible, and there's a lot of potential that will be coming out in 2024. So I'm looking forward to next year and what it will bring when it comes to the open worlds. Alright guys, that was it from me in today's video. I wish you all an amazing day. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.